October 4th, 2025. The headlines are stark. Canadian travel to the U.S. plummets, billions at risk. Once busy border crossings like the Peace Bridge now stand nearly empty, duty-free shops deserted. This isn't a seasonal dip, it's a nationwide boycott by Canadians, rippling across the U.S. airlines, tourism boards, and small businesses are watching bookings vanish. The boycott, born from social media outrage, has become a powerful economic weapon. Border towns like Pembina, North Dakota, and Plattsburgh, New York, are hit hard. Gas stations, malls, and hotels sit idle. The flow of people and money, once taken for granted, is suddenly in jeopardy. Mayors plead for federal aid, airline execs scramble for solutions. The economic bonds between the two nations are being tested as never before. The message from Canada is clear. The cost of strained relations is now counted in billions. The silence at the border is more than symbolic. It's a warning. The question now: how deep will the damage go? The crisis is no longer theoretical. It's unfolding in real time. The world's longest undefended border has become the front line of an economic standoff. The stakes are high, and the outcome uncertain. The friendship between two nations is on the line. The countdown to recovery, or further decline, has begun. What triggered this crisis? Aggressive U.S. tariffs, 35% on Canadian goods, sparked outrage. Canada retaliated, but the damage was done. U.S. political rhetoric, including calls for Canada to become the 51st state, fueled national pride and anger. The boycott became a way for Canadians to push back. Safety concerns also grew. Gun violence, polarizing policies, and stricter border checks made the U.S. feel less welcoming. Viral, fake images of tanks at the border stoked fears. The Canadian dollar's decline made U.S. trips pricier, turning shopping sprees and vacations into luxuries. For many, the boycott was both a political statement and a financial necessity. The result: a perfect storm of economic, political, and emotional motivations. The U.S. was no longer just a neighbor, it was a risk. The boycott's roots run deep, and its impact is personal. Canadians are voting with their wallets and staying home. The rift is about more than money, it's about respect. The numbers tell the story. Canadian travel to the U.S. collapsed. Airline bookings dropped over 70% year over year. Border crossings fell by a third. In North Dakota, Canadian visitor spending plunged by $14 million in 6 months. Hotels, malls, and even national parks saw sharp declines. Polls show 63% of Canadians are less likely to visit the U.S., citing tariffs and hostile rhetoric. This isn't just about economics, it's a protest. The boycott is mainstream, and the losses are real. Border towns feel the pain most, but the ripple effects are national. Each empty car, each vacant hotel room, is a reminder of the cost of conflict. The numbers are more than statistics. They're lost livelihoods. The economic chill is spreading. Before the boycott, Canadians spent over $20 billion a year in the U.S. Now, that pillar of the tourism economy is crumbling. Even a 10% drop means $2 billion lost, and thousands of jobs gone. Current declines are far worse. Airlines slash flights. Hotels and restaurants cut staff. Border towns, once thriving, now face empty storefronts and layoffs. The pain extends beyond tourism. Local governments lose tax revenue, public services are threatened. The interconnected economy means losses multiply. Small businesses, from diners to hardware stores, struggle to survive. The ripple effects reach deep into communities. The crisis is slow-moving, but its impact is undeniable. The economic fallout is only beginning to be understood. The cost of broken trust is measured in lost jobs and shuttered businesses. The stakes have never been higher. The billions lost headline is based on projections, not final numbers. The true cost will be clear when audited data arrives. The impact isn't uniform. Border states and Sunbelt destinations suffer most, while much of the U.S. remains insulated. Other factors matter too. The weak Canadian dollar, rising costs, and shifting travel patterns. Canadians are choosing Mexico, the Caribbean, and Europe instead. Airlines adapt, reallocating planes to more profitable routes. The story isn't one of universal loss, but of concentrated pain and shifting behaviors. Some businesses may recover, others may not. The crisis is complex, with winners and losers. The final tally will reveal the true scale of the damage. For now, uncertainty reigns. The future is still unwritten. As the dust settles from the travel boycott, its long-term impacts are becoming clear, not just for local economies, but for Canada's place in the world. The boycott has altered how Canada is perceived by its neighbors and global partners. Trust, once taken for granted, now requires rebuilding. Tourism boards are rethinking their strategies, focusing on diversifying visitor sources and reducing dependence on any single country. Beyond tourism, the diplomatic consequences are harder to measure. Some international investors grow cautious, wary of policy shifts and cross-border disputes. Meanwhile, Canadian officials are strengthening ties with other regions, promoting cultural exchanges and forging new trade partnerships. Communities near the border feel the loss most acutely, but the effects ripple outward, impacting universities, businesses, and even family reunions. The experience has taught Canada valuable lessons about economic resilience and the fragile nature of international goodwill. In the long run, the boycott may lead to a more diversified, globally connected Canada. But scars remain, reminding all sides of how quickly relationships can change and how much effort it takes to restore them. Despite the crisis, human connections endure. But how did we get here? The border crisis began with a series of escalating disputes, trade disagreements, new travel restrictions, and a high-profile diplomatic incident in early spring. In March, a sudden policy shift led to the closure of several key crossings. Within days, cross-border travel dropped by over 70%. Immediate reactions were swift. Canadian officials called for calm, while international leaders urged dialogue. The U.S. Department of State issued a statement expressing regret and hope for resolution. The economic impact was staggering. In the first month alone, border towns reported losses exceeding $500 million. Tourism operators saw bookings plummet by 80%. The damage is financial and deeply personal. One shop owner in Niagara Falls said, "We've never seen it this quiet, not even during the pandemic. The future is uncertain. Will trust and tourists return, or is this a new normal?" The next economic reports will be watched closely, as both nations brace for long-term effects. The story of two nations, friends, rivals, neighbors, is far from over. Their shared history is filled with both conflict and cooperation. Only time will tell if the border reopens, or if the divide deepens. The world is watching, and the next chapter is yet to be written.